Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, I'm looking forward to spending some quality crafty time with you. And I hope today finds you well. Now, I've got a lovely little design today. Yesterday we had quite a lot of colour. I mean, those Dinkle powders, wow, they're just amazing. So I thought we'd go slightly different angle today and we'd have something just a little bit more gentle, and this Raindrops on Wild Summer Flowers, and I've just got them coming in from the corner. We often stamp our flowers, obviously meadow style from the base, but I thought we'd do something a bit different today and just use this top right hand corner. And I think we've got so many stamps that would work well for this, and also different colour tones. And as always, I cannot wait to see what you come up with. You're such a clever lot. Now this I think could make so many different, it could be a birthday card. If you change your colours a bit, a condolence card, just a thinking of you card, a get well card, you know, so many different things. You could just have leaves. Sorry, excuse me. You know, our beautiful maple leaf. If you wanted a card for a male friend, I'm just thinking if you stamped that in the corner. Anyway, I'll leave it with you. I'm sure you're going to come up with so many different designs. And as always, please share on our Lavinia social media. I love to see what you create. And so do the rest of the team. This all starts with our A6 multifarious card. Again, you know the one that multiple fairies make, she says, tongue in cheek. So we're going to start with our stamping. And I'm going to use the Wild Summer Flowers. Now, again, if you haven't got a lot of stamps, I mean, it might be, I know some of you are crafting sort of in the caravan at the minute or on holiday, or you've gone child minding at a relative's house or dog sitting. I know so many of you do these activities. So this will be a lovely sort of, you won't need to take a lot of supplies with you, and you could batch card make this design. Now, also, I hate to say it, but Christmas, got to whisper that, you know. Choose your stamps carefully, but I think this could make a beautiful Christmas design. In fact, I've just given myself an idea there. So whoever put that in my head, thank you. Watch this space. I know exactly what I'm going to do for that. And that could be my this year's Christmas card. Now, I want to come in from the corner. So it's the larger, we've got 2 stamps on this stamp set. So it's the larger one. So if you're one of our lovely new friends and followers and you don't have many stamps, this is an ideal design for you to create. And then I'm going to come in with the smaller one. And I'm just using the black, the VersaFine Clair. So it's our permanent ink. I did think about using a colour, but I thought, no, I like the strikiness of the black with this. I want to keep it quite clean and simple, some lovely white space. I think it was the full-on colour yesterday that made me think I just feel like I need some white space. Now this, I'm just going to angle this way. And I'm aiming to have all the stems in the corner. But you know what? If they don't all get there, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. We'll go in the corner-ish. I like an ish. Gives me a bit of a wiggle room. Now this one we're just going to bring, and we're going to bring it lower down, look. And again into the corner and just off the page slightly. And already you're starting to build up that lovely shape. Now, I was looking through my stamps and I went to all my different leaf sections and I was looking for different leaves that I could use. And I decided to use the sage stamp. And I know in theory it's sage and it's got the little flower head here, but I love the way it's such a solid stamp, a lovely silhouette. So that's why I've gone for this. But again, there are so many alternatives you could use. But sometimes I find it nice to use a stamp that isn't exactly sort of what I suppose it was intended. Although it's a herb, I suppose it is made up of leaves. And I just want to make it look like the leaves are just coming off the stem. And even though it's almost shaped as though it's going that way, you can just use it, and it looks like it's coming off. And again, I'm using first and second generation. I love to use that second generation. You know, the ink's on the stamp, so why not use it? So maybe we can have that there. And then maybe, I've got to be careful there, look. My first generation was half on the design and half off. So I've actually got some, so I don't want to stamp that on my design, because if I do, look, that's still first generation, that's second. So I do fancy a second there. But what I'm thinking is I'm actually going to use a first there. Actually, I'm not going to add a second. I'm going to leave that. And just to continue, I do this, you know, all the time. And I just talk to myself, when I put it up that way, I like that. But I just need a little bit of dark stamping here and here, just to frame the design more. So I'm going for the larger stamp. As I say, there's 2 on the sage. So I'm thinking this one will lovely there. And then just 1 at the top. I've got black ink on my finger there, so I need to wipe that off, because this is the card where we want that white space. I don't want that black mark. And this one, I think, will just catch that edge there. Yeah, so I'm liking that. So we'll give that a blot. Again, it's your slower drying ink. And when I blend the ink behind it now, I don't want to smudge that. Really important. So give that a good press down there, and just mop that ink up. You can see we have got some on here, so that would have smudged. So now for the moon mask, and I'm going to use the smaller one. And the colours I've gone for in my elements, so this is my ink I'm going to blend with, is Blue Lagoon, Mermaid and Confetti. Now, you can use the pink elephant, but I know some of you haven't got the pink elephant yet, and I don't want you shouting at me. So either confetti or pink elephant. If you use pink elephant, be gentle. It's such a beautiful colour, but full on. So I'm going to start with Blue Lagoon, and that's my darkest of the blues. And again, I'm just blending in that lid. And I'm just going to get myself a piece of kitchen roll. Again, I want to keep this white if possible. And I'm just going to start in that corner and add some of the blue. And this is my deepest colour. And that just gives me a starting point in the corner. And then I'm going to come in with the mermaid. But I'm just going to turn this round and pop my moon mask there, I think. And then I'm going to come in, and again, always in the lid. And I'm just going to blend some blue ink around that moon mask. And it's just habit. I like to do this upside down. And I just want to come down, a little bit of a trail down my card there. And then just bring that blue in to meet where that dark blue is. And I just want to cover my stamping. Pick a little bit more up from the lid. I'm just going to turn that round now. Now, obviously, that join needs a bit of work. So with my darker colour, into the corner and blend down, because I can see how far to go. Don't go over your moon mask. And what I'm going to do is just drag a little bit of colour down each edge, just to frame that. And it's worth just taking your time. You want to get a lovely result. So as I say, do take your time. I'm just going to give this a bit of a wipe, pop it back on, and this is where I'm going to come in with the confetti. And again, blend that in the lid. And I'm going to go around the moon mask. And very gently, I'm holding it on the metal part, look, but very gently. And this because I'm just adding a hint of colour. I've not turned it upside down. I'm just going to slide the moon mask away. Right, I like that round there. You Can you see that lovely colour tone? It probably won't pick up that well. But what I'm going to do now is just add a little bit more up here into that blue. And then, I'll turn it round, you might be able to see it better. Just going to blend a little bit more down over that lighter blue. And it's just, I want to blend that colour tone and create just a different colour. And I love doing this. And if you struggle with your blending, it's a lovely way to get used to very light and just check your colours out. Right, and I'm going to turn it round. And I love that. I love those colour tones. So I'm going to put the lids on, because do you know what? If I don't, I will put my arm in it, and we want to keep this beautiful space. Now I'm just going to leave that there for a minute. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more colour now. And I'm going to come in with my Uniball pens, and I've got the Signal, the white, but I've also got the metallic, and every time I go to Lavinia I choose a different colour, and this one's violet. And I thought violet would just be the right colour for these gorgeous little heads here. So I'll start colouring in, and I'm just literally dabbing the pen. Now it might be you want to contrast. It might be you want to go for, say, a gold or a bright yellow. Again, totally up to you. Often I would put glitter on here. I would tend to add some stickles, but for this design I wanted to keep it without any glitter. It's funny, isn't it? Some days I like adding glitter, some days I don't. But that's the beauty of when you're making cards, you can decide. And I love the way we can change our designs, can't we? As I say, you could make this with lots of glitter on. You could add the holographic glitter. As I say, some stickles, some liquid pearls, some gems. I mean, you could really go to town. But I'm just going for the metallic pen. And just this one here. And again, beautiful, just that little hint of colour. Nice and relaxing. This is a lovely thing to do. Just take your time, don't rush. Now I think we've got them all. And then with the white, we'll just add some highlights, just as though that moon there is just catching. And that really works well on the black, really makes it pop. I'm not going to overcook that, maybe just a tiny on there, on the second generation, but I don't want to overcook it. But what I do want to do is add some water splats. And I know you're saying, Jo, why haven't you cleaned that up? And I've got a reason. And what I'm going to show you, so what I'm going to do is I want to do some faux bleaching. But what I'll do first is add my lovely sentiments. And from my sticker sentiments, I've noticed I've got 3 sheets of these on the go, as you know, and I've got raindrops on all 3. And I thought, right, I need to use that sticker. I haven't used it yet. So that's what gave me the idea for the whole design. So I'm going to add raindrops, literally. So there's the word, the sentiment, raindrops. And I'm just going to cover the moon for the first one. And over where I've got my colour, I'm just going to add some water to add a little bit of faux bleaching. And then I'm going to take this off, give that a wipe. And to make the raindrops in the white where the moon is, I'm just going to take my fan brush and pick up some of this ink that's left on here. And this is where we use that. It's lovely to use what we've got. And this way I'm going to introduce some little blue So it's a combination of clear to faux bleach, but then I want some of the blue where the moon is. And also down here where the white area of the card is. So I'll have my faux bleaching and some little blue raindrops. And I just want that combination. So I'm just going to lift that out of the way, clean this up. And you could have put that on a spare piece of card or in your journal. And then when that dries, and again, I'm not going to force this dry, I'm going to let it dry naturally. I'll have that combination of the white areas and the blue. Now, if I put that there, now this will be beautiful in your journal. In fact, I might put this one in my journal. So if you can see on the finished one here, this is the white, the faux bleaching, but then we've got the blue. And you do get quite a different effect. And for me, it just adds to that whole raindrop. You see again here, the faux bleaching, and here, the blue. So I hope you have a go at this. And if it's in your journal, I'd love to see what your journal looks like. But I've talked myself into this is going in my journal. So one for a card, one for my journal. There we go. Everybody's happy. So thanks as always for popping in. You take care. If you're one of the 3 a.m. gang, I hope you sleep well. So I'll pop back soon. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.